Now I press this button and then we're on, alright?
What?
I said I'm pressing the button, so we're on now.
Okay.
Don't say anything stupid. Don't embarrass me in front of these people, alright, Carmen?
Oh, fuck.
I've worked very hard
Have you?
to obtain every single one. Oh shit, I'm on.
Glorious.
I should. Hang on, do you have a hairbrush, Carmen?
Yeah. I'm just looking at your stream from my end. Floor game.
Yeah, do I look good?
Yeah.
Lie to me, Carmen, alright?
You look great.
Good, I'm glad. Alright. Yeah, right, I need to set this up in a way that I can see everything, alright.
Yeah, it's just like floor game.
So I am Sam. I'm the proprietor of this channel. That's something I found on the street.
Hello.
That's a creature.
Just call me a fucking creature.
Now that's Carmen. She's my other half. She showed up one day, sort of like asking for food. You know, Carmen, can I feed you this? Can I feed you this little crisp?
Okay.
No.
Okay, fair.
There you go. That's how I keep control of this thing.
Someone just called me a rat.
She is a little rat, you know. Everyone just take a moment to just sort of admire.
Hey.
Look at
I
it.
don't think they can hear me.
Well, that makes it even like just shout.
I don't want to shout. The
Just
neighbors.
scream. Okay.
E.
Okay. So yeah, I'm gonna be working on Winifred, which is over here. First, I haven't streamed in a while. The reason I haven't streamed in a while is because I haven't read a. I don't know what the chat's going. I haven't streamed in a long time because I've moved house. This motherfucker moved country. She's from America.
Yeah.
She's from America. We've been boyfriend and girlfriend for about 3 years.
That's gay.
And finally, she's actually moved over here to be bullied by me in person.
Like you sound.
No, it's alright. You'll stay with me, Con, because I got food. Okay. Oh shit! I can't pronounce these names, Carmen. Pamela the Poison Ivy Dragon says,
I thought you were gay.
I'm gay for you, Carmen. You know. Love your channel so much. I showed my friend your channel and she fell in love with Lucy. I love Ludwig. You're amazing. Keep it up. Well, thank you. I mean, most of it's kind of shit, but you know, I think recently I've gotten better. You know, I think the book stuff's just like really good, and the new animation tests I like. Not perfect, but they're definitely, you know, they're definitely improving. I think so. You know, I think I need a fucking haircut. I shouldn't have streamed. I'm looking at myself now because you don't look at yourself often, do you? But I'm sort of catching myself in the camera.
I do, 'cause I'm a narcissist.
You're not a narcissist, Carmen. Look at you.
Fuck off.
But yeah, what we'll be doing is we'll be not much, you know. I just want to sort of get back into streaming a bit more because it is something I enjoy. This is Winifred. This is also 2.7. I know Blender 2.8 is superior, and I did Celia's animation test in 2.8 because it is better. But 2.7 has things worked out that 2.8 does not. People who do Blender will understand that there are things in 2.7 that are just more convenient than 2.8, particularly around the rendering phase. And also, 2.8 is not backwards compatible, so I like to work in 2.7 and then I can save it as a 2.8 file and then sort of improve it from there. However, if you do 2.8, you can't, reverse engineer that back into 2.7. It won't work. So, I like to, Winifred's just sort of here, she's just sort of going. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm just going to be smoothing out some of this animation. The little teaser I put on Twitter, by the way, that was the first part. This is the second part, and I'm going to just be doing some polishing. Pamela again, thank you. I have a question. What made you come up with your characters? Like, where did you come up with their names? Fuck knows. Things that sound good, I suppose. Now that might sound like a cop out, but something that sounds like the character, I suppose. You know when you get to know someone really well and their name becomes more like a word that means them. Like, I know Carmen really well, so the definition of the word Carmen is her personality. I see her face when I say that word. If you've got a character, think about a character that is, represented through, their name. So, for example, Locket. It's a da-da, and it's a very sharp sounding, powerful Locket. It's a very, powerful name. Methuselah. It's quite a soothing name, Methuselah. And sort of like that. That's not how it is for all of them, but I suppose if you want some form of answer that means something, I suppose I would say that. What's this? We all simp for Winifred. That's France in your pants. Thank you. Well, I mean that. Winifred will definitely punch you through a wall. So there's that. CJ, who is your favourite Kivy? Oh, my favourite Kibblewhacking characters are Celia, Lucy, Locket. Actually, in the book, Fontaine has risen quite high.
Fontaine scares me.
Fontaine is kind of. Maybe I'll read some of the book later. Just a few little bits. But Fontaine is good. Of Sombra and Winifred, they're great. And the book should be out this year. I'm on the last 3 chapters. So yeah. That's it. So we're going to be focused on Winifred's hands here. Let's her tails are not done yet either, but we'll do the hands. We'll start off simple, Carmen. Yeah.
Go on.
Yeah. You got a problem with that, Carmen?
Yep.
What?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to put my earphones in because this will probably be echoing if I scroll through the stuff. I'm going to get the stream up on my iPad as well, so I can actually see both things at the same time. My iPad screen is now gone upside down. Okay. Okay, let me okay, can I click on this? Yes. Okay, let me okay, can I click on this? Yeah, you can click on it. It's fine. Just yes. Yeah, you've already. Yeah, you've already clicked on it. You've already clicked on it. It's fine. Just well, it's not fine because you keep talking over me. Yeah, you've already clicked on it. I know I've clicked on it. I'm just trying to fucking do this, man. Just let me do it, alright? Okay. I know I've clicked on it. I'm trying to. No, I told you that, okay? I am letting you do it, alright? Okay. Fuck me. You're useless. You are really pissing me off, mate. Listen, sunshine. I made you. I can unmake you, okay? I'm listening. Don't call me sunshine. You didn't make shit, right? I'm in the present, you're in the past. I control everything about you. Don't you fucking swear at me. You don't control anything. All of your actions are the ones that I dictate. I am the one. I can do what the fuck I want because I am here, okay? Fucking you'll go mute. Sorry about that. This wire is is clawing at my leg.
You should get some.
Some milk.
What?
What?
No. Earbuds.
Some earphones, you mean?
No, like earbuds with no wire.
Yeah, but then you lose them.
Yeah, but you can get like a wire to attach. They actually do that.
I need like a shape key here. So yeah, fucking. Did someone post a mango? Oh, no, that's a lemon. Alright.
I think there is a mango emoji.
Oh. Carmen, if there's a mango emoji,
I will post it, but I'm
post
gonna
it.
check.
Okay.
There's an orange. Oh, wait. Something?
Yeah, so what I'm doing now is I'm just creating a shape key so her chest doesn't like fucking push out too much. Shape keys are just a very handy dandy way of controlling the mesh, particularly when you've got like a rig like this where it can be quite sensitive sometimes. So you've got something like that and you can tone that down. One of the little tricks, and all of these shape keys make up her face and all of the little movements there. So S Fox, love the art, love the characters. And story, just thanks. Yeah, good. Everyone's see Carmen, mangoes. Arthur, we are gonna go to Tahiti. Mangoes, maidens. Okay. Zzz. Okay,
we need to continue, Red Dead.
What?
We need to continue, Red Dead.
That we do. Bit out. Yeah. And that's how you solve some of the problems. Shape keys, they are magical. You can cheat with them. You can do whatever you want with them. Okay, now we can go back to the hands. Okay. I need to put this iPad in a way that remove those crisps. Okay. This desk is too small, Carmen.
I wish that I had my desk from Weaver.
Which one? Wait, what? The shit one?
Yeah, I mean it had like.
Oh well, yeah. You're using a suitcase right now, so I suppose that's fair.
4K. But no, like that one, it had 2 parts to it. It was really convenient for my tablet.
Yeah, well, this one. I miss my old desk from my old house.
Just having a desk.
Yeah, well, Carmen, fucking, that's a damn shame. All right, Carmen. we'll get you a desk.
Yeah, whenever lockdown's over.
Okay, I've got the thing up, so I'll answer some questions that people have as I go. This is exceedingly boring. I understand that, but hopefully it might be of some interest to people. Interesting thing about the Winifred animation test is that she's animated to nuclear test footage. So yeah. So the background is comprised of animated footage of nuclear bombs. So yeah, it's very fitting for Winifred's new vibe. But obviously you can't see that because it's not rendered. But oh my god, Winifred, are you okay? Okay. Super Sum Creations, that feedback echo reminds me of my character Trevor Gators Continuum. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Having one of his moments. He has 3 heads. He had 3 heads. He has 3 heads in the past, present, and future. That's actually an interesting thing. Well, like, you know that Doctor Who episode, Carmen, where they had that character with 2 heads, one that looks to the past and one that looks to the future?
No.
The one where Clara bit the dust but didn't.
Fuck Clara.
Fuck Clara. Pamela again. Here we go. Another cool question. What is it like working with the Nostalgia Critic? The trial music was absolutely my favourite to listen to. It was very disconnected. Basically, I had very limited contact with that whole team. It's basically like, you know, we're going to do something with The Wall, and The Wall is, you know, a film that I enjoy, and they were like, do you want to do a sequence for it? And I was like, yeah. So I did, and I had absolute control over that sequence. Now, I didn't know what their script for the review was until
When they posted it.
until pretty much like a few days before they posted it. So what I did was I tried to squeeze in a little mini review in the lyrics, which sort of, I think, has a nice balanced view of the film, ranging from, you know, people's common criticisms of it, and, you know, the best things about it, which is certainly the visuals, the music, the tone. So I just sort of worked that into it, and I was just sort of left to my own devices. I didn't have long to do it. I had like because don't forget, I had to wait until they filmed the footage to animate around. So I set up all the scenes and all the shots to the best of my abilities, but I could not start animating that until they sent me the footage to animate around, and they usually do things like 2 weeks before upload. So I had about they extended it a bit, but the whole sequence was done in about 17 days, if you can believe that. Some would call it rushed. I would definitely call it rushed, but the result was, I think, okay. It wasn't the best. It was okay. But yeah, it was fun. It was fun. Hang on, here we go. We've got chaotic canine culture. This guy's great. In fact, I knew about this guy before I was even. I remember being jealous of you. By the way, if you're listening to this, I remember being very annoyed. A very annoyed 17-year-old Sam would watch your Five Nights at Freddy's and what was it? Bendy and the Ink Machine stuff, and I'll be like, why is this guy getting all the attention? Who?
Wait, what?
I was jealous of this guy when I was
Wait, which guy? Chaotic?
the chaotic canine.
Oh yeah, I figured them out. Like, so he used to do like some voice acting work.
Yeah, I was like.
Then I found out he did music.
Yeah, it's great, honestly. I'm glad I'm getting to. Hang on, I'm missing some things here. Hang on. Jazek, there it is. Okay, thank you very much for the thing for €20. And then Crypt the Creature. I recognise that name. I'm currently learning Maya, ZBrush, and Photoshop at Dave's school to animate. I can't wait to catch up to you on this stuff. You're so inspiring. Thank you very much. Maya, I have mixed feelings about Maya. It's very industry standard, but I don't know. A lot of people. There's this whole thing in the animation sort of CGI community with Maya versus Blender and all that. But whatever works for you, I suppose. Maya can do a lot of things that Blender can't, and Blender can do a lot of things that Maya can't. It just depends on how you are. I like Blender because it's open source. If it doesn't have a feature, then someone will have programmed that feature in at some point, and you can get it as an add-on. You know, it's very community driven, and I like that. So. But yeah, with regards to like chaotic, him and God, there was a few others. When I was 17, I had like a huge chip on my shoulder, and anyone else doing anything similar to what I was doing was the enemy. Unless they were like cartoon or stop. I remember actually starting out in stop motion. It was because of Clay World. If anyone's ever seen Clay World, then you know what I'm talking about. If not, what the hell are you doing? So what we're doing is we're trying to establish some form of like flow here with the hand. You'll be surprised by how much, how important things like this are to the flow of movement. Ever going to show Ludwig fighting? Says the Wanderer. Well, possibly. It depends. I'm more focused on my book right now. But possibly, you know, I won't rule anything out. Okay. Curl these a bit more. Where are you? There you are. Nice. Yeah, you do that, Winifred. And we'll take this. Nice. Okay. Just adds a lot more to it, you know. It's subtle, but it's there. Because if it's not there, it's distracting, you know. Obviously, this animation's unfinished, so it's all kind of a bit janky right now. But so, for example, here she would open her hand. I've got automatic keyframing on as well, so it's whatever sort of shape I like. I like that. It's just a matter of sort of getting the shapes you want, locking those in place. Okay, so this. The Wanderer again. Do you have a voice actress for Celia? No, I do not. I do not have a voice actress for Celia. That is one of the things on the list to do. I'm not sure what voice exactly I would like, but I've got a few ideas. I'll have to put the feelers out for that one. And then France in Your Pants again. That's another that's a great name. How do you come up with ideas for what the characters look like? How do you come up with their designs, and how often do you change before the final look? Sort of. I'm indecisive sometimes. Like I will have a very basic idea in my head. Let's think. Like for Lucy, for example, I was listening to the song Papa, and I just sort of imagined like this polka dot weasel singing it on a bar top. And that was all I really had. It was just like a polka dot weasel, and then I made her very weaselly, red nose, and I was like, okay, pointy ears. I like the heterochromia sort of thing going on, but then I gave her the different ears, and I just sort of sculpted her out. It's a process. Like, look at Winifred. Winifred started out blind and mute. Winifred is a character evolution that you've all sort of witnessed. Well, not all, but I imagine a great many have sort of seen through Satellite City. But this is the Winifred now. She's the definitive Winifred. There is no more blind Winifred, because this is the Winifred in the book, and the book is the main sort of thing now. Which is interesting, because all I had when I started was just characters. Didn't really know what to do with them. So I ended up just, you know, I just ended up animating them in my house, because fuck it. So what I ended up doing was having a bit of lore. And I was like, okay, so where do they come from? And I decided to make it as fucked up as possible. Just like, yeah, let's make this alien culture. And then that became more interesting than whatever the hell I was trying to do on YouTube. And so I wrote a book about it. And I'm much more happy with the book. The book is far better than anything Satellite City ever was. Roberto Ada. Do you listen to music and imagine your characters in the scene in your head like a mental music video, or is it all improvised? Oh no, I definitely do that. That's one of the main powers of music. Its ability to. It's why I don't particularly like music videos. If ever there's a music video attached to a song, I will always scroll down or ignore it, or close the lid of the iPad and just listen to the song, because music videos can be great, but I don't like it when it's imagined for me. The power of music is like letting people interpret the music and put their own ideas in there. And that's definitely what I use it for. I judge music based on how well I can put images to it. That's how I judge a good song. Supersum again. His middle name is pronounced like the Greek Mother Earth. Oh, hang on a minute. You haven't seen Doctor Who. You would love Doctor Who, especially if you're into all of that sort of mythology type stuff, because they do go into sort of elements of that. Lucy was the first character to spook me in years. That smile. She's actually become much less spooky, at least in the book. A lot of the characters aren't going to be what you're expecting in the book, by the way. I mean, for those people interested, I mean, if you like the characters, then I would definitely recommend checking out the book when it's out, because it is the main sort of thing. It's where all my effort has gone to for the past few years, or at least 2 years. So much so that it's sort of eclipsed everything else in my life. Bedside Beastie, thank you very much. Love how you design your characters. I take a lot of inspiration. I designed a werewolf creature based off of character flaws in the individual. Nice balance of creepy and visually appealing. Yeah, good. You always want some good flaws in your character. That's what makes them good. Oh, hey, Janessa is here.
Oh, first trailing, yeah.
She just had to hop off, but she was here.
God damn it.
F for Janessa. Goodbye, Janessa. You will be missed.
Oh, I see her. Oh, he's here now.
What I can do here is cheat. I might read some of the book in a bit. Oh, like not spoilery bits, obviously, just sort of like maybe some introductory parts. Have you watched WandaVision at all? And if you have, what are your thoughts? No. Wait, what's so funny, Carmen?
Because all we keep hearing about is WandaVision.
Yeah, our friend Erica just loves WandaVision. Like, oh. I don't know who takes maths that seriously. Like, long division was always the biggest bitch, you know, in school.
Every time I see the name, I just think of the Fairly Odd Parents.
Who took division and thought, let's make it longer, you know? So if you say to me, oh, there's this great show called Long Division, why? Oh, why would I watch that? Oh, my dad's in the stream sending Christmas trees to mock me because for those of you who don't know, me and Carmen have still got our Christmas tree up because we're festive. We live life on the edge. See, that wrist movement's a bit janky, so we can use a finger to smooth that out. Your character designs helped inspire the Eldritch-like approach I use for the prime class of heroes. Okay. Let's see if I can pronounce this, Carmen.
Good luck. Which
Right,
name is it?
Ripona, I think.
Rapona?
Rapona.
How's the name spelled? Where is it?
So what, sorry? Oh, hang on, let me scroll back up to it. Ryperna.
I remember none of those letters.
Fuck me, Carmen. Alright. Tron. Oh, fuck. Yeah, I haven't seen Tron in a long time. In fact, didn't they remake that?
What?
Didn't they do a sequel, like a really late sequel or remake to Tron? I remember it being... Oh. It was the thing with the light bikes. You watched your parents watch the movie.
Well, like, I wasn't watching it, but whenever I would leave my room, whenever I still lived with them, they were watching it at one point.
Was Chocolarry Pop? Hello. Hello. Oh shit! Thanks for the. You don't have to spend too much on the super chat, guys. You know, like just. You know. It's just my way of being able to answer things, but you can just put like 1 penny if you want. Big fan of your work as always, Sam. Excited for the upcoming book and series. Who are your cover designs you would say are your most favourite you've ever created this for? I think Celia is definitely one of the strongest designed characters I've made. Obviously, it goes without saying, like Lucy Lacemaker, there's obviously something about her that's just sort of that works for a lot of people. I don't know if it's the colours or the shape or what. There's something about her just sort of clicks. But me personally, obviously Lucy is up there. Celia is I don't know. I just like her. I like her shape. I like her quirkiness. The dreadlocks, the piercings, the gold, the blue, the galactic celestial sort of design, the starlight pupils. Whenever she's in the book, I take great pleasure in designing, in describing her, and you know her the way she moves, and you know she's very fun. Locket as well, swirling red antlers, and you know ashen skin, heavenly white, hellish red. She's got this very afterlife sort of description, somber as well. You know, character designs that have layers to them, I suppose. I enjoy a lot. One Foxy Artist, thank you very much. Hello. Well, now I'm just going to assume you're Cockney, so since you said hello, or you could be Australian, but I don't know. Hello. How are you doing today? I was wondering when the book will be released and where it will be released at. Also, do you plan on writing more books after the August few? Yes, I do. There's 6 books planned, and that's not including novels. There's 6 like actual sort of epics, I suppose, planned. The August few is the first in the series. Hopefully it will be released this year. In fact, it definitely should be, since I'll probably have the first draft finished next month, and then it's just a polishing phase, doing multiple drafts to make sure it's up to scratch. Mika Ninja, great to see you again. Love the new models, and the animations are fantastic as always. I'll be getting your book as soon as it comes out. Thank you very much. And the Wanderer again. Where did you get the idea for Fontaine, and will we see more of him? Fontaine is a huge part of the book. You'll be seeing a lot of him. So yeah.
I saw Bold in the chat.
You saw Bold King Cole?
Yeah.
Bold King Cole is cool. It's the new voice for Yeshua Hayden. Okay, I know what to do here. Okay, she needs to clench her fists there since she's flexing her muscles. So what I'll do is I will to fight the horde, sing and cry. Valhalla, I am. Do I have a drink? Fuck me, I drank my tea. God damn it. Fucking goddamn it. Did I drink my energy drink last night? I did, didn't I?
I think you did, so I brought it up here last night. We have probably
With her hands animated, she looks like she's just flailing. It's just.
See. Oh wait, I saw it like on your iPad.
Yeah, she's like, ooh.
Winifred has a disorder.
Winifred's trying her fucking utmost, right? So am I. Oh, fuck. Okay. We're doing it. I need to make sure I'm not fucking... Save. Right. Let's give this hand a go. Where the fuck? Oh, we can ignore this hand actually. This is not on, it's not on. If it's not on camera, then it doesn't exist.
I thought you were using SE logic now.
Okay, now for this, she will be Evan, $2 US. Got here late. Why are you using Blender 2.7? Oh, I answered this earlier. Basically, I like 2.8. I did the Celia animation test on 2.8. 2.8 is superior. However, 2.7 has, let's say, facilities that 2.8 has not got going yet. For example, I use jiggle bones on my characters to simulate some amount of physics when they move. That does not work in 2.8. It goes absolutely ballistic and it's uncontrollable and it ruins everything. So if I want to use that feature, for example, I've got to use 2.7. But then once it's baked into the keyframes, I can then... The thing is, 2.7 works in 2.8. I can take this file and load it up in 2.8. However, if it's in 2.8, you cannot load it up in 2.7. It's not backwards compatible. So to play it safe, I use 2.7 knowing that everything in 2.7 at least fucking works. And then once I'm happy, I will move to 2.8. For example, Celia, the Celia animation test, her dreadlocks were not possible in 2.7. 2.8 is what made that possible, her hair simulation. However, if you look at Celia's stomach and chest and parts of her body, you'll notice that, you know, they jiggle and they shimmy and they sort of move organically when she you know, that was done in 2.7. I baked those animations in 2.7 and then went into 2.8 to do the hair. I hope that makes sense. It's just there are some, and plus 2.8 crashes a lot. I don't know why, but whenever I'm trying to render something or go into the materials tab trying to work with things, it crashes. And whenever I press the render button, almost always it will crash because, I don't know, 2.7 is just more stable right now. Now if they fix it, then yeah, obviously I will you know, I'll go to 2.8 or 2.9 now. I love 2.9. I've learned how to use it. I can use it. Like I said, the Celia animation test was done in those softwares, but just, you know, for the sake of convenience and habit, I use 2.8.
You could ask Parsonda.
I could, yeah. Super Sum again. That's how it's pronounced. It has the same roots as Persona. Oh. $40 is enough for tonight. I can't wait for First Night to arrive. First Night is definitely on the way. I don't know when. First Night is in flux right now. It's dependent on the book. As I said in the post, it's one of those things that I want to do, but I need to prioritize, you know, what I want to do as a career, and that is writing. Demi Bojira, I assume. Will the August View be sold physically or just digitally? I hope to own a physical copy in my library. Yes, I will be releasing hardback first editions initially. So yeah, definitely. The Wanderer, would you call yourself a furry? No, I would not. You would, Carmen, but I wouldn't. The reason I wouldn't is because, not that there's anything wrong with that, it's just I have a very different definition. For me, a furry is someone with a persona. They have something that represents them and their personality. Some people like to dress up. like their persona or draw artwork of themselves as their persona. I don't do that. It's not something that interests me. I have characters that are not me. Lucy isn't me. Winifred and Locket and Ludwig, they're not me. Maybe they're parts of me, but they're not me. They're not a persona that I project myself onto. And you know, it's weird. Like the Egyptians throughout all history and cultures, you know, even recently like Disney, we've used anthropomorphism and, you know, projecting personalities onto non-human formations. It's not something that's necessarily just this furry related thing. It is just part of the natural creative process to want to create things that aren't human for reasons of allegory or just, you know, fun or creativity. So like Animal Farm had a lot to say on the proletariat, you know, communism, and they used animals to tell that story. And I think that, you know, that there's a lot to be said for using creatures and aliens to say something about humans, you know. So no, I wouldn't call myself a furry. No, not that there's anything wrong with it. I have loads of friends who are of that camp. It's just I'm not personally. It's just not something that I've ever really been interested in. I just like making things, I suppose. I like alien cultures, alien things. But yeah. Oh, your models are very... Oh, here we go. Jaco, thank you. Your models are very pretty. Will you ever play VR chat and upload and play as your avatar model? I don't know. VR is one of those things that I'm not too hot on when it comes to socializing. I'm very traditional. I like the only time I will talk to any of my... I've got friends, like, you know, who live in the same city as me, and the only time I message them or text them is to say, when are we meeting up? Because I almost exclusively interact with people in person as a rule. I don't like texting. I send voice notes all the time to people. It's that whole thing has gone way over my head. I just so VR chat, no, it's not something I would use to socialize. I would much prefer to meet up with someone in person. And I understand people across the world, but I don't know. It's one of those sort of Black Mirror like things, because I know that Facebook is planning to do VR Facebook chat rooms and stuff, and that if that technology is evolving faster than our culture, you've got kids 6 years old who have departed to them this device that can access the wealth of human stupidity, and they don't know how to use it, and the education system doesn't teach them how to use it. And, you know, you get fucking all sorts of just shit and cesspools. So all that whole... I didn't own an iPhone until I was 17. Not that I wasn't allowed one. I just didn't want one. That whole big social media frenzy of Facebook and, you know, all that... It really went over my head. And VR chat looks very fun. And I think I would like to play it as a game to fuck with people. But I don't think I would enjoy it as like a primary source of social interaction, like a lot of people seem to do. I don't know. Fuck it. I'm rambling. Jacob, will you ever make your base model? Will you ever make your base model for your characters for sale? No, I don't think so. I think that would be... I don't know. I don't think so. What price do you put on that? And I wouldn't want the character models I have going to people who would probably use them for very inappropriate ways. Because let's be honest, I see the comments sometimes. You know, if people want to make their own, that's fantastic. I've got no problem with people making their own costumes or artwork or their own models. Just my models, I spend a lot of time on them, and I'm pretty protective of them just because they mean so much to me. So probably not. But I don't mind. I do commissions. I don't mind making people models, provided the price is right. Your work in CGI and 3D modeling. This is Roberto Ada. That's a cool name, Roberto. Your work in CGI and 3D modeling is very skillful and artistic, and I hope it doesn't sound like I'm being insincere. Just out of curiosity, what are your thoughts on practical effects? I love practical effects. In fact, I'll go back to that question in a second. CJ, are there any particular rules regarding Kivik designs, since there seem to be common features across all? The reason I made the Kivawakians is for a few reasons. They all look differently from one another. that's just partially because it's just more creative and fun, because every new character I get to design, I don't like the idea of having a species where they all look the same. It's nothing wrong with that. It's just, for me, it's a bit boring, like, they have different horns and different ears, and but they look exactly the same. Having a species like that would drain on me. I like the idea of always having the potential to bring something crazy out, like a tentacular monster, with a fucking mustache and a great coat, like, I like that. So Kivawakians, no, there are rules. I mean, they represent the id. They are nature incarnate. That's the whole point of the Kivawakians. They are a society if nature's rules were governmental and legislative. So obviously they need to be symmetrical and powerful, quite beautiful even. They need to be strong. They have the crossed sort of clown pupils. They have 3 navels. Other than that, no, you can go pretty mad with it. Like, it's just sort of fun, CJ. Oh no, so we've just gone through that. I'm gonna go back to that other question in a second. Is Lucy's hang on? Is Lucy's tail prehensile? Give me a second. Let me, do I have Lucy's model here? Lucy's. Would you say Lucy's tail is prehensile?
What?
Prehensile tail.
Can she grab things?
She can grab things, but she's never been depicted as grabbing something. Oh, actually, she grabbed her hat, and she does grab things with her tail. Yeah, it is actually. It is prehensile, because originally it was just a thing for balance. But in the book, she does grab things. I was going to bring up the Lucy model just to have her grabbing onto something, because that would be. I've never actually animated that before.
Never climb something, use it as an extra limb, like a monkey or a possum.
But yeah, her tail technically is, because in the book she carries things with her tail. France in Your Pants, random, but have you ever heard of the Jericho song Cell Dweller? It gives me big villain vibes, possibly good for Manders, Davy Jones or Lockett tests. I will give that a look, definitely. Okay, going back to the practical effects, I think. Yeah, my opinion on practical effects is I love practical effects. In fact, me and Carmen were just talking about it. It's where our artistic interests merge. Carmen is very 2D animation oriented, and I'm 3D, and neither of us really cross into those sort of realms. I don't really do 2D. In fact, I can't draw for shit. Carmen doesn't do 3D, but we both love.
Blender's weird.
Yeah, but we both love practical effects. We both love stop motion. We both love shit like that. But I have very high standards for practical effects. The best practical effects I think you'll ever see are if you watch Gremlins, Gremlins 2, Little Shop of Horrors, the Thing, shit like that. It's just gorgeous practical effects. Where they look, like lifelike, and that's the key, lifelike. It's not enough to just look real. People say, oh, practical effects are better than CGI because they look more real. Well, a chair looks more fucking real, but if you compare Smaug to a practical effects dragon made out of tinfoil, yeah, the tinfoil one looks more real, but the Smaug in the fucking movie looks more lifelike, and lifelike is the key. It's one of my criticisms of some practical effects where they think they can get away with it just because they're real, and it's like, yeah, it's real, it's a real puppet, but it looks like shite. Like, one thing I never understood is, like, the CGI Yoda from Star Wars looks so much better than the puppet, and I know the puppet is very nostalgia driven, but don't the puppet's real and it's actually there, but come on, the actual.
They did the Yoda like they did the Gremlins.
Did you see?
No, I'm saying if they did.
Yeah, I know. It's the eyes, you see, because they have those sort of pre-modeled eyes that don't move around much. They do move around, but they don't move around much. I don't know.
I mean, if they were able to make the Gremlins' eyes and stuff dilate in that film, they should have been able to do that with Yoda.
It's tit for tat, Obviously, you can have bad CGI and great practical effects, but you can also have vice versa. Dacia Novaskis again. Hello. Do I spy a man streaming again? Is this the other half of the same room? Oh yeah, it is. It's Carmen. Hello, Carmen.
Wait, who?
Dacer is saying hello.
Oh, hey, Dacer.
Glad to see you streaming again. Have some money, keep up the good work. Thank you very much. Fuck me, I've got so many comments to read. Okay, hang on. Fuck. What was I going to say? Yeah, the reason I haven't streamed in a while is because I've been moving house. Well, I mean, I moved house back in 2020 at the end of the year, but obviously we've been setting things up, so I haven't had the time to stream, but now I do. Jaco again, thanks for your work. Keep it up. Make stuff. You make stuff like Chimera Sinks and Mean Draco. Really love monster stuff. So do I. The Wanderer again.
Someone had mentioned.
Wait. Yes.
Someone had mentioned D&D.
D&D.
Yeah, they were like, "Oh, have you ever played D&D?"
Oh fuck me! I'll get into D&D. Jesus. When you referenced DeviantArt, do you regret making Lucy a lesbian? No. Why would I regret that? I don't think I ever referenced DeviantArt.
What? Yeah, you did.
When did I reference DeviantArt?
It was in like you were looking through fan art or something in one of the episodes.
I thought they meant in this stream when I like a ref. No. Like it's not defining of her personality. It's just like, sort of like, why not? What's this one here? First time here on your stream. Question: what was your main inspiration for the Kiverwork universe? PS: you are amazing. Keep it up. Great work. Thank you. Angelique. Oh fuck! I'm gonna butcher that name. Angelique Ross. I hope I fucking pronounced that right. I'm terrible with pronouncing names and remembering them. My dad's music. Definitely. The Concertina Ballerina, or just Concertina Ballerina. There is no the, although I keep saying the, but it is the. I might play it actually if we have time. The both the original and the trailer version that I'm going to use for the book. Huge inspiration for the world. Okay, Winifred, you may now flex your muscles. Alex Telford, hi Sam, absolutely love your work, and I was wondering when Fontaine would get his animation test. Soon, hopefully. I've got to do Winifred, Lockett, and then probably then. Where did this tea come from? Did you make this? Yeah. I completely forgot. Thank you.
I handed it to you.
Oh, I forgot.
You grabbed it.
I must have been spacing out. Thank you for the tea, Carmen.
You're welcome.
Carmen made me tea.
Yes, I did.
She made me tea, guys.
Myself tea.
You dare make yourself tea?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll do it again.
I'm gonna plug my iPad in because it's running out of charge and I still need to get through this. Okay, there we go. Fuck off! What are you doing, mate? What is this fucking thing? Did you see that, Carmen?
No.
The fucking plug just fell out. Like it just fucking gave up on life. I'm turning into a Cyberman with all these wires around me. Okay, right. Oh my god! Don't you fucking do this to me right now, you fucking charger right now, you little cunt. I swear to Christ, I will fucking delete you. It's not charging, Carmen.
I was probably doing that thing.
Oh, I better not do it to my iPad. I need this fucking thing. My phone has been rendered unusable because it will not charge anymore. And I've been without my phone for about like a month because obviously we're also in lockdown, so you can't get it fucking fixed. Oh god, it's not charging. Carmen, what do I do?
Wait for it to go dead and then reboot it.
Ah, shit off. This is ridiculous. I fucking hate Apple. I fucking despise Apple, man. Honestly, you create absolute toss. There we go, it's charging now. Oh, now I've got so many things to catch up on. Glad you're making the book available physically. As soon as it's available, I'm purchasing a copy. Cheers, thank you very much. Tiamat. Fuck, I'm so sorry for butchering that name. Stan Winston made stunning practical effects monsters and whatnot. Anyways, love your work and hope to commission you one day. Keep being awesome. Thank you very much. And I agree, he did. I hope I've caught up. If I'm missing anyone, then yeah. Okay. Right, what was I talking about before I fucking had to plug in my iPad? I can't remember. I cannot remember, okay. How have we still got this many people watching?
How many people are watching?
490.
That's a lot of people.
Hey Carmen, am I like iCarly? Like, are you my Freddy?
How am I Freddy?
You're right, you're Gibby.
Fuck you, I don't want to be Gibby. I have Spencer energy.
Okay, you're Spencer then.
Yeah. I'm gonna cause the biggest car accident in Liverpool.
Oh god. Yeah, that was strange. He definitely killed people in that episode.
Can we talk about how
iCarly has a death count?
well, not only that, but they dead ass swatted Neville.
They swatted Neville. Damn, son. Don't fuck with iCarly. I heard they're bringing that back.
Yeah.
But without Sam, which is... I understand, because obviously Jeanette McCurdy fucking despised her time on that show, and I don't blame her, because fucking child stars always end up... They always end up either not wanting to act ever again, or in therapy. You know?
I know that, like, everyone... I know Nathan Kress, he's into directing or something now.
Well, that's good, you know.
I think Miranda
It's always good if...
Cosgrove was going into psychology or something.
It's always good if they could survive that sort of world, but I feel so bad for them. You know, what was I doing? Mr. Sadistic Llama. What does your family think of your weird, wacky characters? Any characters you dislike or want to improve in your book? Is Lucy still lesbian? That's the second fucking question we've had with regards to Lucy's sexuality. Yeah, my both my parents, you know, very much enjoy my work. I'm going to be honest, neither of them really took an interest in Satellite City. They just didn't understand it, and I don't blame them. It was fucking me just having fun and spinning a random tale of a guy in his house with creatures. However, when my mum and dad read the book, because I've been obviously I've sent them drafts, that's when they actually started to take me more seriously, because they actually believe that I have something with the August View. So that's very encouraging. So, you know, my dad, you know, we have regular conversations about the characters and about, you know, the book and the world and shit like that. And my mum is currently reading through a fresh draft now. In fact, I was just calling her yesterday about some of the... Lucy is her favourite character. So these are two people who never really took an interest, but the book works for them, and that's very encouraging. So, yeah. Have you ever read Darren Shane's... Oh, actually, yeah, Darren Shane, I have. Actually, in fact, that was one of the first books I ever read. Eragon was the definitive first, but I haven't read that series, no, that one in particular. If not, you would love it. Unless that's all the series. I don't recognise that. I'd read those books, but yeah. Do you ever wake up with random injuries that you don't recall inflicting? I don't know. I think one time I bit my knuckle. I think.
What?
When I was asleep, I told you about this. I woke up and I had like a bite mark on the knuckle, just where my thumb is. And I sort of remember doing it. It's weird. Yeah.
Yeah, there was another time. You scared me because you were laughing in your sleep.
This is the last thing you see before you die. Winifred just standing there ready to absolutely punch your face in. You know you're fucked up when she gives you that look. If I render this, will my computer explode because I'm streaming? Do you reckon we could survive rendering it, Carmen?
You can try.
What's that supposed to mean?
You can try.
Is that supposed to be a joke, Carmen?
You can try.
You trying to mock me, Carmen?
No.
Well, if the stream fucking explodes, then you know why. I'm going to try and render this so people can appreciate something mildly threatening. So, let's see.
Maybe.
If the stream dies, then you know why. We rendered Quinn once.
Which one has... Do particles have an effect? I don't know shit.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
But Quinn was I rendered him at a stupid quality in that stream. This is just sort of 150 samples.
The normal one.
Plus it's got plus I didn't know I didn't use what's it called, denoising technologies, so I always rendered it like 700 samples to get rid of noise, but now I know that there are denoising things that Blender has, so not only can you get your animations to look very clean, but you don't need to render them at fucking 500 samples. You can just do it at 100 or 200 and you're okay. Sky Fairy Fern, if I can recommend a song for future or just to listen to, Jen Titus or Titus, whatever that is. Oh Death. It's slow but powerful. But question: who do you like least in terms of design? Least, I would probably say, like, I don't know. Fleischer is probably the most generic, given the fact that he's pretty much a dragon. He's still, you know, I think a great character, but in terms of design, I would say he's the least interesting. You know, if I had to say. Hopefully the stream isn't.
It doesn't look like this time.
Keep me posted, Carmen.
Okay. Fine, let me go back to live.
I like Fleischer. He's kind of an asshole in the book, though. I've never read a Lovecraft book. My writing inspirations are H.G. Wells and George Orwell. I've never read a Lovecraft book. Although I do like the Lovecraftian sort of look, that sort of design work. That's mainly because of Bloodborne, though, which was very much based on... Oh, here she is. She's going. My computer might start to blow up, though, so just be aware. Just be aware, guys, alright?
Seems like it's going alright, though.
Seems like it is, yeah. It seems. She's going. How did Celia and Lucy meet for the first time? That, well, you will have to find out in the book, if they even meet at all. But, that would be a spoiler. Oh, is it going? Is the stream dying, Carmen?
All these poor people, they think that the rendering is lagging. That's just kind of how it does.
Character design that's most struggling. Wait a minute, hang on.
Unless it's like, unless the audio is lagging.
Maybe it is.
No, it's not. I unmuted it for a second.
Angelique Ross, character design that is most struggling. I don't know, struggling. I'm not sure. I usually just sort of let the characters sort of do their own thing. See how it works, you know? Okay, we're making it, guys. We're doing it. Oh.
Your chat is so much faster than mine.
Hang on. We'll come back, don't worry.
You died?
I didn't. Not yet.
Is it still going?
I don't know.
Aww.
We can come back. We can do this. The render's almost done. The render is done.
Is it
I don't know.
Oh, yeah, yeah. It's
Okay. Are we back?
Yes.
Okay. The effort that we rendering Winifred live. Fuck me. I don't know if they can they hear me now? Like,
yeah, I mean, like, I turned on the,
but like now is it playing audio from like an hour ago?
I'm waiting.
Oh, I think we're good. Oh my god.
Yeah, yeah, I mean, it's playing audio now.
We did it. You crazy son of a bitch, you did it. Okay. So yeah. All this to give people a flexing Winifred.
She looks so angry.
A worthy reward though.
She's just like, ew.
It's not the best quality obviously because it's I didn't want to blow up my computer while streaming. But there she is. So she can just sort of sit there.
Sweet vibes.
Right. Hang on, I got a thing. Chaotic Canine said something, but I just fucking missed it. Have you tried or thought about using live motion capture animation with those motion suits? I have, actually. But I would not know. It would be a whole other set of skills to learn. But I wouldn't be against it. I mean, just for a joke, I suppose. I do enjoy the animation process, so I probably wouldn't adopt it entirely. But yeah, hopefully the stream is doing well. Okay, the stream survived then. Okay. Open widget. It says oh. It says error. Okay, never mind. Well, okay, we'll just assume. We'll assume.
What are you doing? Get me out of there. I don't want to be on, like, so close. Why are you zooming in? Why?
Hey, Carmen.
Hey. You could just, like, turn around. You know, we're 7 feet, 6 feet away from each other. You know?
Alright, well, I'll answer it. How long have we been going for?
I don't know.
There's no time. Oh, only an hour. Fuck me. Damn, I thought I was doing better than that. I thought I was way more charismatic than that. I thought I would make the time fly by with the sheer velocity of my wit, but I guess not. The chat is so behind. Like, the chat is so far behind. If anyone's actually listening to this, yeah, the chat is so far fucking behind.
Someone called me Kareem.
Kareem. Do you watch anime? If so, any favorites? We've been watching some Studio Ghibli films recently. Right, if... Ah, this is weird. Okay. I'm answering these questions probably 5 minutes after they're asked, but it's not because I'm ignoring them. It's because I think the super chat is actually really far behind. But do you watch anime? If so, any favorites? We've been watching some Studio Ghibli films. You know, and I think they're very, very nice. Some of the endings confuse me, like Howl's Moving Castle. Great characters, great art direction, just, you know, a magical film. And then she kisses a fucking turnip at the end, and that's the prince, and it's like, what the fuck is going on? But yeah, no, I mean, anime is, I suppose, is just, there's no way of just saying, oh, it's all shit or it's all good. I mean, it's like you've got good horror films, you've got shit horror films, you've got good Western films, shit Western films, you know. I suppose it's just a matter of what you particularly like, you know. So, yeah, I've got nothing against it.
You're gonna watch season 2 of Beastars.
Oh, fuck me. Fucking
we're gonna end it there.
Beastars.
It was good.
Wow.
You could go on a rant.
Oh god.
The Legoshi training manga.
Well, you can't see what I'm doing, but I'm just... The thing just refreshed, so I don't know if that's going to help.
Oh no.
No, it should be alright. There we go.
Oh.
No, it's alright. That was me. Because the chat was like really far behind, so I just refreshed it, so... Hopefully the chat is in line now. Let me know if you can hear what I'm saying as I'm saying it. So, someone just said, damn, that chest, though. Yeah. Ooh. 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 Ooh.
Oh, I love that pixel.
Yeah, I love my favorite pixel of Winifred right here.
It's so good.
Yeah.
It's so beige.
I know, it's just this one beige pixel of Winifred's chest, and that is the key right there. Secret of all character design.
Having a good pixel.
Yeah. This one pixel
It's fantastic.
is the thing that makes Winifred just work. You know? So yeah. That's a little secret. I probably shouldn't have divulged that, but you know, fuck it. Now everyone knows. Now everyone fucking knows.
All the secrets.
Hmm.
Every single one.
Excuse me?
All of them.
Excuse me, Common?
At the same time.
Common, hasn't I ever told you that you...
Yes.
Okay.
Alright, go on.
No, it's alright.
No, what were you gonna
No.
say? Tell me.
No, it's fine. Do you want another mini cheddar, Carmen? What if I throw one at you? Will you eat it?
Oh, yeah, I'll have to.
There you go. Eat it.
Where did it go?
I don't know.
Oh, I found it. Throwing food at me. Can't believe it.
Yes. 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 Well, I think I will finish the stream by reading out some of the book. How would people like to hear a bit of Celia?
All my homies love
Celia. Celia. C C C C C C C. C C C C C C C C. C C C C C C C C C C C C Sue. C C C C C C C C. I'm trying to think of the best sort of part. Well, obviously not the best part because
Well,
that would ruin
spoilery.
it. But Trying to think of a good part.
That's
That's
non-spoiler.
non-spoilery. Sulia. Sulia. Okay. I will save her introduction for people who read the book because that's quite a... Hang on a minute. Oh, here we go, yeah. People know what she looks like, and I'll save her description for first-time readers because I think that's going to be quite an interesting read since it sort of pertains to that part of the story. What I can do, though, is I can find a part that directly pertains to Celia actually sort of doing something. Like the part where she investigates that fire. Okay, here we go. I'll take... Oh, what's this? Alicia Barrett. Will you and Carmen act as characters in First Night? Yes.
Oh wow.
It's gonna be funny. Okay, so I won't read out Celia's full description because, like I said, I want to sort of leave some juicy bits for the actual book. But what I can do definitely is read a little part where she investigates a fire. I won't tell you anything more than that. So this is from a part of the book called Blackened Bodies. So, and then we'll end the stream there. Celia hadn't stepped foot in Vileborn for a very long time. It certainly wasn't a place she disliked. She enjoyed the bravado and banter of the casino far more than she did the Hammerlow. It could never be proven, but she felt as though the casino dwellers were more like-minded, living for the moment and joyful. Celia had enjoyed her time in the Hammerlow, fulfilling the requests of the yacht, dodging danger and chatting to Dalton, but here in the casino she felt at home. She made sure to keep her head down as she prowled the uneasy streets. Things had changed. What was once a place of raunchy repartee and audacious action had been turned to quiet caution and careful footing. Halcyone was nearly barren when Celia walked down its vertical streets, as if alien gravity had suddenly taken hold. All joy seemed to have fallen from its face, leaving nothing but sorrow. Let me just separate that part. Forgive me while I do some editing. Okay. They weep for their livelihood. Sadness stands where joy once stood. By the way, point about Celia, she hears sort of a musical song in her head. Her mind sang, never failing in its tuneful commentary. She knew, of course, that it was her own strange way of processing information, but that didn't stop her from acknowledging the fact that she was still a broken thing, much like the Shadowland she now negotiated. This was a place consumed by the event it hosted. For rare was the occasion when fire consumed wood, metal and flesh, untamed and ferocious. Surely an accident. However, it was another question that seemed to be the point of caution in Vileborn, the explanation for this newfound vigilance. What if it was not? Normally after such an event, despite its rarity, a corps of Yolsh and architects would be dispatched to unroot the cause of the crisis. Upon discovering what led to the incident, they would record, adapt methods, and swiftly rebuild. In this case, however, the scene had been contaminated with controversy, tales of illegality, and bad press. Even to Celia's surprise, so toxic was this mist of suspicion that not a single Yolsh came even close to the ruins of Needlemire. They patrolled the streets, of course, but the blackened wreckage of that ill-fated dollhouse seemed cursed. Celia smelt it before she saw it, a horrid stench of ashen bone, vaporized flesh, and charred hair. When she finally did see the extent of the building's ruin, the sight sickened her. The skeleton of Needlemeyer stood at half its usual height, its body encaved and warped. The ash settled like snow onto the streets, only disturbed by a ghostly breeze and the footprints of those hurrying by. The white ash lightly crunched underneath her hands and feet as she approached like a vigilant hound. The veins of illumination were blood-red, but the street shone its share of white as the obliterated ashen dead reflected and translated the light into dancing spirits. Needlemeyer was a ruined animal, murdered, lying in the blood-stained snow. Shards of broken glass rustled and chimed as Celia stepped through the ruined entryway and into what remained of the gallery. The proud metals that had surrendered their strength to fire and ran down the walls as cowardly liquids were frozen mid-dribble. The building's wooden flesh had splintered and caved under the weight of its bones, and the cowering figures of frightened beasts remained suspended in their positions of death, encased in layers of hardened ash. Celia walked through the building surrounded by the echoes of life, looking for some form of reason or cause. What could have done this? She asked herself aloud, in defiance of this cruel elemental death. She set her mind to work, first inspecting the windows. While all the glass had been shattered, she focused her attention on the frames, specifically the clamps and locking mechanisms. Each window's lock was loosened and unhinged. Imagine this building's the flames grow higher. A physical thing is no liar. An open wind may affect the fire. The windows were open, Celia commented in reply. A steady supply of oxygen means for a longer blaze. Unfortunate for these poor rotters. She made her way further into the building and past the unfortunate dead. She walked slowly and carefully, keeping her eyes fixed to the walls and ceilings, looking for patterns of growth. Her assessments told her the speed of the fire's expansion, its velocity and ventilation. She looked out for the differences between combustion, thermal effects, and pyrolysis. She considered all these factors, and within her mind a picture formed which led her to a large, single, singed body. She sniffed the corpse and furrowed her brow as her brain made sense of it. Chemical, she deduced. A female she burnt first, the result of some violent combustion? Feeling a wave of certainty, she searched the immediate area for any signs of a suspicious trigger. She stopped, frozen in disbelief as she spied a shape she knew all too well. Plucking its broken vessel from the blackened floor, she brought it close to her eyes. It was shattered and distorted by heat, but there was no doubt. A twisted bottle of mire. Bringing it to her nose, she sniffed for any form of residue, but to no avail. "Walla wah, what are you doing here, little thing?" she remarked in disbelief, swiftly pocketed the bottle. Her findings only brought about more questions. The dead would provide little in the way of answers. A witness Celia needed. Stepping out of the haunted building, she looked across the street to a neighbouring establishment, Conline's chop shop. Something seemed to be off. A chop shop was usually full to bursting with eager clientele, trading in the results of their own labour for a satisfying bite. Yet there weren't even any ink-house papers available, which meant the usual arrangement had stalled. There were no more than 4 customers feasting when she entered, and she looked at each one as if they looked as if they wanted to be shut of the place. Celia assumed that Conline was the three-eyed, missing the fourth, tall, bald, and spider-legged creature stripping the flesh from an unfortunate fowler behind the counter. Capitalized fowler. She approached, keeping her wits about her, feeling the eyes of the customers upon her pierced galactic body. Her long black coat trailed behind her as she asserted herself into Conline's view. "This your gaff?" she asked, resting one of her elbows upon the desk, hand on cheek. "Aye, I be Conlon, what of it?" A rather Scottish-sounding chopper replied. "I can't do a Scottish accent." "Don't ask me to." Celia grinned. Of my Peter Capaldi impression, yeah. Celia grinned and tapped the white nails of her free hand onto the desk. "You sell feathered wings?" "I have a few about the place, miss." "Can you pluck 'em?" "It'll cost extra if you want 'em prepared." Conlon raised an eyebrow and scrutinized her. "Never seen your face before." "I don't imagine you've seen many faces recently." Conline looked around his shop and released a defeated sigh. "Aye, you're not wrong, miss. You're not wrong." "Oh, did I say something silly? You'll have to forgive me. It's been a long walk from Moncton."
Moncton, the chopper remarked. You're a long way from home. Where do you work? Celia scratched her head and pulled a rather goofy face, indicating dizziness. Was a freelance vessel inspector, wasn't I? Not too much work in Moncton, you know. What possessed you to come here, then? This place has vacancy written through it like lies in a Starklook paper. I'm just passing through. Celia looked around at the barren shop. Starklook don't reprint this far out. Most ink houses reprint important points of information obtained by larger ones. It's normally a dutiful thing. But then their information has been wonky of late. Is that why you haven't any papers stocked? Asked Celia, turning back to him. It's a pity. You might have more customers if you had a little more incentive. You should talk to an ink house. It's because of the ink houses that this place is barren as a bone. Won't catch me making deals with that lot until Starklook changes its tune. The Yo should have cleaned up that smoking mess next door tones ago. But now they've been forced to withdraw, and I'm left here trying to sell my goods next to stinking death. What happened over there? Celia's face turned serious for a moment, but she quickly lightened it before the chopper grew suspicious. I've no idea, miss. Nothing to do with me, I tell you. You didn't see anything at all, Celia pressed. Conline looked her up and down, giving her a sideward look of distrust. You Yosh? Do I look like I'm with the Yosh? Blackhall, then? Been reading Starklook recently? I thought you didn't buy that rag. Conline paused and took a moment to contain his panic. You're asking a lot of questions for someone who's just passing through. Celia leaned forward. Conline backed off. I'm not with the Yosh, but I can get this mess cleared up for you. You don't want that? I do, of course, he confirmed. But I'm telling you, I didn't see anything. From her pocket, Celia pulled the partially melted bottle of Maya, held it up before Conline. I've just lost where I am. And held it up before Conline. Based on his reaction, she knew he was holding back. You know what this is, she stated as an absolute fact, as he lowered his gaze in defeat. What's that got to do with anything? It caused the fire, sir. Tell me what you saw. Celia laced her voice with threat. I won't ask again. He didn't say anything, but he did nod and indicate for her to follow into the back of the shop. His chop shop was a rather small place, no larger than 100 square feet and no higher than 300. The mechanical rails that usually carried food about the place were barren, and the kitchen was overflowing with unspent supply. Not that it mattered much. The unrotting bodies would keep Kivik things immune to the decay of time. I'll need to arrange a return for a lot of this stuff with my book bureau. I hope they'll let me, otherwise I'll just have to flog it cheap. I'm sorry about your business, but I'm here to help, Celia comforted. Just tell me what you know. A peddler passed through. Don't know where from, he began. I only know that I bought what was sold, to my shame. What did you buy? Conline pointed to the deformed bottle. That. He wiped his forehead with a loose strand of cloth. I found a large body of a female among the dead, right next to where I found the remains of the bottle. That'd be Skylar, the doll of Needlemeyer, Conline clarified. She perished in the fire. The peddler was male, much larger than Sky. Big and blue as you like. I didn't find a body that size. He was seen escaping the fire, giving chase to someone. I don't know who. Lockett, strike me down. I don't know who. Is there anything else you can tell me? What about the Maya? You bought it. What does it do? Conline's face grew deeply sorrowful, as if he were about to cry. I only tried it once. I had to be rid of it. The shame of it all. Did it have an effect on you? I didn't say that, he blurted out, evidently unhinged. Relax, Celia instructed. At least tell me a little more. What did it cost? Move that down. What did it cost? Most of the expense was arranging delivery, but the item itself cost me a fair bit of stock. Although after Goldoon went missing, I guess my arranged payment went missing with him. Okay. And what about this Goldoon fella? She asked calmly, making sure not to push the chopper over the edge. He was close to snapping. And she knew it. I told you, I wasn't there when it happened. I only saw the fire from here. You don't know anyone who might have seen more. What about the dollies? Did any of them make it out? Conline nodded. Those who survived the inferno found work elsewhere. Where? The chopper grimaced, stress exuding from every inch of his expression. The deal he had made was bad enough, but now he was under scrutiny. He had kept himself hidden ever since the fire, refusing to read the papers, refusing to acknowledge the horrid happenings, thinking that by ignoring it the whole thing would fade away like breath on a window. But then Celia came, and all his guilt came crashing back into reality. She had made it real again. Where did the dollies go? She asked him. She asked again. The only place left for lost and broken dollies, he finally answered. Feverfire Blood Hall. Leaving the ashen street felt to Celia like escaping the presence of unseen doom. Such desolation in wake of two unknown beasts. Galdoon and the nameless creature he chased from the fire. The sight of Needlemire, inside and out, was not one she would soon forget. Walla wah, she said aloud, finally turning away from the ruin and pressing onward. So hasty was she to distance herself from the morbid scene that Celia nearly missed the footprints in the ash. Few creatures ventured to that street. Not a single Yolsh was one of them, but Celia could recognize the patterns of a Yolshian stance any time, and these were fresh prints. Okay, so I'll leave it there. That was just that was a little snippet of Celia just sort of investigating, you know. You can sort of get like an idea of who she is, how her mind works. Obviously there's this event. I was very careful not to ruin like what it was, like how it pertains to the story or who is involved, but you know, it gives you an idea of the language I like to use in the book, the dialogue, the sort of, you know. So hopefully that was entertaining to listen to. I shall probably end the stream around here, unless you guys want to hear another extract. But I'll have to like...
I'm always down to hear more.
Yeah, well, as long as they're carefully selected, I don't mind reading people. Because I'm getting to the point where I'm ready to, you know, almost release it. Oh, here we go. Roberto to Ada. I know the chat's really been out. I just wanted to say that the imaginative variety of Kibawakins and your characters has been and continues to be wonderful. Be a wonderful thing to experience. Hope you have a nice day, and I hope your book goes well. Thank you, Roberto Ada. But yes, that was a little extract of the August View. Don't know if there's anything else that I could maybe read that's that is interesting without ruining anything. Without ruining anything, mind you.
It was censored version.
A censored version, and then she said, boop, and then boop.
That spoilery, just like.
Yeah. So then we went. Boop.
Yeah, there you go. Glorious.
Yeah.
I think I can get this commission done in like.
But
20 minutes.
what character would people be interested in hearing from? Because I mean, it's a 436-page book so far, 260,000 words. I'm sure I can find a non-spoilery. Dalton. Yeah, but he's sort of involved in a lot of.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, yeah, sure.
Math. What do they call Methuselah?
Meth. Sombra's Library would be good.
Would you be like the Fleischer Quinn thing or no?
Oh, Fleischer and Quinn would be good too. Yeah. I tell you what, Fleischer and Quinn would probably be a good. I could read some stuff with Sombra, Fleischer, Quinn in the library, because that's not spoilery. That's just, you know, world building, and I don't mind sharing some of that if people are interested. So if people want to listen to a bit.
Oh, Erica said read the different districts.
Read the different districts. The intro. They're sort of introduced.
I don't know.
Jojo Sparkle, she looks stunning. Look at her go. Look at her. Oh my god, I can't wait to see her in all her glory. Jojo Sparkles, thank you very much. Okay, I'll read a few non-spoilery extracts. I won't read too much, but this is Fleischer. This is Fleischer and Quinn. Since Quinn hasn't been seen in a long time, you know, it would give people a good idea as to their new sort of formation in the book.
All my homies love Quinn.
So this is Six Blind Eyes. This is the sub-chapter, that's what it's called. Fleischer and Quinn were both elegant whispers indeed, bound continuously together by their field of work, for they were masters of linguistics both, all things spoken and written. Their talents were split, with Fleischer tending to the written word and Quinn tending to the spoken. They made quite the partnership, despite their considerable dislike for one another, in spite of sharing similar traits, and even some physical features, in the fact that they both had 6 eyes. They were actually exact opposites from one another. Fleischer was scaly, cold and sharp. Quinn was fluffy, warm and soft. Fleischer's eyes were small, tuned and immaculate. Quinn's were large, misty and cursed with blurred vision. Fleischer's ears were small and ignorant. Quinn had 6, and all of them were magnificent. Quinn also had his fluffy moth-like antennas, which granted him an extra chemical sense, but Fleischer had his teeth beset with fearsome venom. He used this black poison as his own supply of vicious ink with which to write his personal notes, knowing that Quinn would never be able to read them due to the chemical distress it would bring. Fleischer had a pair of large, enchanting wings, and Quinn had his 4 fidgeting arms. Both had their advantages, but one would always make up where the other fell short. Quinn would always ensure that Fleischer walked in step to the obsessive standard of Sombra, and Fleischer would hound Quinn if ever his own obsessive standards blocked progress, for Sombra also ran a ruthlessly strict schedule. Despite their differences, they were 2 sides of the same coin, spinning through the air in a ringing dance of dominance and authority. "Quinn, where is that document?" Fleischer called from across the Brownian room. "I need a signature on it before the 7th tone." "Stop pestering, Fleischer," Quinn called back. "Do you want it done quickly or correctly?" "Both, if you don't mind." I'd have it done already if it wasn't for if I wasn't fixing your errors." "What errors?" Fleischer snorted, gliding over to the scrutinizing Quinn. "Everything in it is in its proper place." "Did you skip over page 53, that passage about the Pandorica scale?" Fleischer arrogantly scoffed. "There are too many ambiguities around the Pandorica scale. It'd have taken me... That's a funny thing to pronounce. "It would have taken me far too long to transcribe the full page, more time than what we have." "You can't just skip over it, Fleischer." "I'm not skipping over it. I've bookmarked it, and I will return to it after the transcription has been signed off on." "Sombra won't put his signature to an incomplete article," Quinn argued back. "Quinn, if I didn't skip 53, I'd never have been able to work on the rest of the report," Fleischer spat. "I know Sombra would be more likely to sign off on a document with 1 page unreviewed than everything after that page neglected." "You just did it wrong. I'll finish this report." "You will not, Quinn. For a creature with 6 fully functioning eyes, you miss so many details," Quinn angrily hissed. "You have no sense of nuance, and you have no sense of time. I get the job done right the first time, Fleischer." The blue dragon-esque whisper bared his teeth and flared his nostrils. "I get the job done without obsessing over irrelevant details." "Would you both shut up?" Felicity yelled, furiously from across the other side of the table. Her face creased in anger, and her eyes blazed. "Why don't you just ask the old one when he gets back?" Fleischer and Quinn were both quite startled at the outburst, but they couldn't blame her. She was learning the lessons of dominance that came with all who lived in Locket City. They had been tasked with teaching the outsider the culture of the Underearth, and they seemed to be succeeding. "Where is Sombra?" Fleischer asked, turning to Quinn. "Did he tell you anything?" "He went to check on something in the library. He'll be back soon," Quinn replied. "Where in the library?" "I have no idea, Fleischer, but can we try and get this document fully transcribed before he gets back?" "Fine, I'll try and scrounge up all I can get on the Pandorica scale." "Excuse me," Felicity spoke up again. "What even is the Pandorica scale?" "A collection of scientific theories," Fleischer answered. "One of them pertains to the transferring of electrical energy from one point to another through cubic veins of material." "That's not it," Quinn argued. "It's about using thermal energy in order to charge electrical strands of metal, I think. It's just a collection of theories, Felicity, written ages ago." "Who wrote it?" Felicity asked. "Could have been anybody," answered Fleischer. "The work is attributed to an invention of the government by the name of Mandus." "Who's Mandus?" "Nothing, nobody," said Quinn. "There's no record of such a creature. Recall your lessons regarding the Watcher, little miss." Fleischer and Quinn opted to put aside their differences and work together. But when focused on that, they made a fantastic team. As usual, Quinn would often annoy Fleischer by his obsessive and near unattainable standards of quality, and Fleischer would frustrate Quinn by his neglection of the little details. Fleischer could hastily review, study, and transcribe an entire book within record time, only to put the book back on the shelf sideways, upside down, or backwards, something that frustrated Sombra to no end. Quinn would often jest many times that Fleischer, despite his impeccable vision, he had 6 blind eyes.
We got one, ladies.
We got one. So yeah. So I kicked him right in the balls.
What?
Fleischer from the and he goes, ugh!
Get enough.
Don't you me? So yes, that is another little part. Trying not to okay. I'll read, following directly on from that. I wouldn't mind reading some about the library. You guys will like this, trust me. Sombra's library. So, obviously you've all met Sombra from his animation test, but Sombra is the grand architect in the book, and he maintains the Malum library. And following directly on from that part is a description of some of the stuff. And it's got nothing to do with obviously it's plot related because of where he's going, but obviously I won't disclose that. But the lore in this part I quite enjoy. So if you guys are interested, I will read a little extract pertaining to the library. What's a library?
Imagine if libraries were real.
That'd be pretty crazy. Okay, so this part is called The Immensity of Malum Library. Okay. A library with the surface area of China, which is around 10 million kilometers squared, might seem like a daunting thing to traverse, as such a thing was not only impossibly large, but also did not offer the courtesy of even being flat. Malum was an incredibly dense and deep-burrowing district, and in every corner, whether the light crept or darkness lurked, there were books. Of course, Malum itself had its own collection of districts, each one dedicated to a particular breed of topic. Some areas were only accessible through the air, for they were suspended high like floating islands and held in place by incredible chains of creaking metal. In some cases, one would need to swim, for the works of the Kivawakian merfolk were not inked but rather carved into tablets of white stone, the transcriptions of which were kept in Malum's aquatic region. The Lake of Rom, it was called, which was deep and vast and haunted by tales of giant Kivawakian whispers, large, finned and tentacled, who guarded the sunken treasures of the library. Whether Malum boasted creeping cobblestone corridors of ghostly green light or high-hanging islands, whether the records were held deep within dark waters or stacked tall upon mountainous regions of knowledge beset with storms of hurricaning papers, whether it was a mighty assembly of enlightened poetry or a lonely corridor of cold mathematics, Sombra knew it, for the library was his. Sombra was taken...
You good?
Sorry, I finished my tea a bit too quick. Sombra had taken his leave of the Brownian reading room and set upon his journey deep into the library to review the documents stored within the innermost district of Malum. He walked, of course, though he could have flown there. Such an action would never be considered by one as meticulous as the Grand Architect, for he took every opportunity to inspect his fine library, and this was one such opportunity he intended not to waste. He was widely considered to be the oldest living Kivawakian, and that fact had yet to be disproven. But with his age also came the monotony of routine. Sombra was one who enjoyed the journey, the substance that came with doing things page by page. Consider this. If he were to morph his arms into feathered wings and glide above his realm, What wonderful sights and memories would he be robbed of, sights and memories only obtained by walking among them? Sombre was one who enjoyed the contents of a book, every page and word. Therefore, to do anything other than enjoy the journey would be to skip to the final page, and so he walked. Sombre was also wise enough to know that walking meant arriving at his destination sooner, despite how tempting flight might have been. The grand old library had a way of toying with one's mind, and if one wanted to navigate the place properly, they would need to stick to certain paths not found in the air. The first district Sombre passed through was the Eisenspine, home of all mathematical theories, records, and ponderings. The spine was infused with cold blue light, along with smaller decorational bursts of swirling emerald and moss. The district was structured in a very cubic manner. There were no gentle curves or softly arching pathways. Even the cobblestones were perfectly squared. It was as if the whole district had been devised by an obsessive computer, where all things had to be perfectly balanced and angular, where all structures needed to be built with maximum functionality in mind. Of course, the Eisenspine was not devised by an obsessive computer, only the obsessive mind of an olden beast. As he wandered through the mathematical streets of the library, Sombre's brain fully engaged with itself. He would spin information around his head until all sense had been forced from it by the sheer velocity of his thought. I'm going to skip over what he says next because he's talking to himself, and this is, it's relevant to the plot, so I'm just going to skip over that. Despite the enormity of the Eisenspine district, it took Sombre no time at all to navigate. He knew where all the fastest routes were, all the locations of the little stitches in space-time for him to cut hundreds of miles from his journey. Through the district he saw many of his whispers, thousands of them, all setting about their task. The mathematicians didn't say much, not even to him, but they did nod once in a while as he passed them by. The Amberlight district came next. This was the complete collection of all fiction, songs, and poetry. Each and every entry into Malin was the original, making all of them valuable beyond reckoning. The Whispers would regularly transcribe these entries based on demand and have them sent to bookborrowers whose reports suggested a need for them. For this reason, the mighty district of Amberlight was one of the busiest. The district was a swirling warren of curved bookcases, finely bricked formations, flowing water that shone like golden syrup. The Whispers appointed there traversed the district by catching rides on gigantic fuel-guzzling steamboats which chugged along the treacle rivers in constant transit. As the Whispers were being ferried to their destinations, books in hand, wings and claw, they would discuss amongst themselves the hidden meanings of the written works they held, often quoting their favourite passages or singing aloud the beloved songs of the city. Given the sheer scale of Amberlight, it was granted its own laugh house and chop shop, which they shared with the neighbouring mathematicians. The warm tellers of tales and the cold scholars who spun only numerical stories, such wonderful conversations they had. We always slow our pace around Amberlight, Sombre thought to himself. Could this be among our favourite districts? It's a fine place, he answered. He's talking to himself, by the way. This was explained later, but I skipped over that part because it's plot relevant. Though I do enjoy the hanging islands of Yorm, those architectural studies could keep me entertained until the end of an era. The end of Locket's Law, could such a thing be upon us? Locket's Law has stood firm since the trade revolution. I shouldn't think such a thing be possible, unless brought about by Locket herself. And I'm going to skip over the rest because, again, that is plot relevant. Sombre decided to take a small detour through the records of song, a longer path than the one he was on, but only by a slither. His mind never stopped asking itself questions. It was a never-ending debate. He would test his own opinions and philosophies constantly. That way, if he were ever challenged, he would know their arguments better than even they did. He never tired of intellectual combat, but in between his battles he liked to revel in the beauty of such language he so fiercely wielded, and for that he turned to music. Plucking a book at random from the shelf he passed, as he passed by, he smiled, opened it, and selected a page. "The lady's child," he muttered to himself. Child, the old word for fowler. It's funny how language changes with time. Child, why did that word die out? Because it was a kind word, too kind for the untested young. Sombre's amber eyes looked at the page, and he began to sing. For the onlooking Whispers, it was difficult to tell if he was seeing the words written before him, or simply recalling. He sings here, but I'll just read it like a poem, I suppose. Fuck it. I can remember when the times were wild. Oh, this is the music in the sort of song and lyrical sort of songs in the book are very much inspired by my dad's own music. Obviously not the words I've written. They're rewritten, obviously, but the actual sort of the music I hear in my head are all sorts of songs that I grew up with listening to my dad. I thought it was a nice way to sort of work in his music into what it led to, because listening to his music meant, you know, I was able to write this fucking book, because that's what inspired me to create this world. So this one's sort of based on a song called 60s Child. I can remember when the times were wild, responsibility was not in style. Most unsurprising, I was born a lady's child. We lived for anarchy, the cold and wild. The only warmth came from the bodies piled. Thought I was lucky to be born a lady's child. We thought that we were never going to change the world. It was all so unfair. We crawled along the ground, our minds unfurled, and meanwhile the lady showed her followers another way. The Titan and her brood led the rest astray, and everyone was thinking as they marched to slay. Everybody was waking up, kneeling down and lashing out. What's it all about? Flying high with Yosh in the sky was the lady's child. Standing up, cutting down and breaking out. What's it all about? Flying high with Yosh in the sky was the lady's child. We watched the underbirth reach for the sky, laughed as anarchists knelt and died. Nobody told them they were born a lady's child. When the watchers came, we all asked why so many innocents have to die. The times were changing for the carefree lady's child. We didn't want to have a part in any trading war. There were protests in the streets. We didn't even know what we were out there for. And meanwhile, the lady and the thumb went and made a stand. The businesses and trades couldn't understand how such a small thing got out of hand. Everybody was moving on, tuning in and spreading out. That's what it's all about. Flying high with whispers in the sky was the lady's child. Moving on, tuning in and spreading out. That's what it's all about, Carmen.
So good.
Flying high with whispers in the sky was the lady's child. Now it's all over, we can laugh and cry. We think of olden woes, the times gone by. Thought I was lucky to be born a lady's child. I was so lucky to be born a lady's child. That's sort of like an old song, I suppose, sort of reminiscing of the past. A sneaky way to work in some lore. Sombra's attention was broken by a pleasant applause as the whispers around him clapped and complimented his singing. Smiling to himself, he gently closed the book and returned it neatly to its home, and continued on his way. The merriment of Amberlight began to fade behind him as he descended further into the library and onto the vertical bridge of Holothine, which plunged deep, acting as a direct path to the lady's shelf where all ancient records of the Watcher were kept. The bridge of Holothine was one of extraordinary size, 3 miles in width and hundreds in length. The bridge did not curve, arch, or twist like many other Kivik pathways. It was a straight stretch of cobblestone flooring populated by regularly high-standing towers of black stone and rimmed with thorny gates throughout the entirety of its length. The light that populated the black bridge was stark white. Like the firing neurons of an angel's brain, they webbed the haunting bridge with the subtlety of pleasant illumination. So much history here, such records and songs of past woes, past glories, Sombra thought to himself as he negotiated the bridge. Could there be anything more important than history? Not to me, he grumbled to himself. It's something to look back to our earlier attempt. It's important to look back to our earlier attempts at civilization, to the Freydan chaos, to the Lady, to the Watcher, to the trade revolution. We learn from the mistakes of those past systems and apply them to our own time. Without the staircase of history, we would not be wandering so high at present. And I will skip over the rest because, again, it is plot related.
You chose this chapter.
I did, but you know, fuck it. We're here for some library lore, you know. Sombre reached the end of the bridge in a timely manner and was faced with the enormity of the district before him. The lady's shelf was a precipice of shelved books, hanging over a black abyss strewn with flowers. Below the woven display of roundheads, squareheads, light thrashers, backslashers, and wide-faced halo sailors, there was the never-ending nothingness, a pit below whose death was masked by the pleasantness of coloured oddities. The blanket of flora before Sombre was hundreds of acres in breadth, and it was clear that the only way to reach the immense shelf was to carefully traverse the chasm. Of course, one could fly, but such an action would defeat the purpose of the area's design. This was another page in his journey, and he would not skip over it. The flowers bound together by their roots and stems were more than capable of holding the weight of all who passed. It was a deceptively dense structure designed to tempt fear from all who set their eyes upon it. If only one would take the first step, then they would realize the surprising power of the footing. Might we ever lose our nerve? Sombre thought to himself as he gently strode across the field of intertwined flowers. Never, I should think, he answered. Far from the deepest nook in Malem, this place offers quite the pleasant stroll. The footing below will always hold despite its threat to break, so long as we do not treat it as ever firm rock. When faced with something so seemingly safe, such as a field of flowers, it is remarkably easy to forget the abyss below, and that's the trap. Sombre chuckled. The illusion of safety, eh? A lesson we learned when the Howling Brigade thundered through the glaze. After Freda, we believed ourselves beyond defeat. Indeed, dancing about in our own field of flowers while screeching death descended from afar. A lesson we never forgot. A lesson we shall never fall foul upon. Due to the light that clung to Sombre's antlers, the flowers slowly began to gather around his feet, and he walked softly upon them, using them to elevate himself to the mighty shelves above. He ascended the ever-forming staircase of thirsting flowers. As he ascended the ever-forming staircase of thirsting flowers, he noted each book, its position and placement. They were all immaculate. Sombre, feeling a cold chill, ventured further upward and found himself in a deeply nestled ravine of shelved knowledge. This was where the old sciences were stored. Each book was neatly placed, and every one of them had within it the details of beguiling experiments, hypothesis, and formula. Okay, I'm going to leave it there. So, there you've got a little bit on some...
I agree.
What, sorry?
Yeah.
You dare, Carmen?
Yep.
You dare?
I do.
Fucking what, mate?
What?
You fucking what? Might read one more, but I'm not sure. I was thinking of one as I was reading there, but I completely fucking forgot what it was.
Well, remember it.
I might read the you know, the one with Lucy, and she's like trying to hide her feelings from Lucy.
The sad one?
Maybe. I'm not sure. I think I'll end the stream on a bit of Lucy. What do we say? A bit of Lucy?
Crying in this club.
A bit of Lucy. Yeah. Okay, we'll end with something. Okay. We'll end with a bit of Lucy, okay? A bit of Lucy shenanigans.
I can and will cry in this club.
After wiping her eyes dry with her polka dot cravat, Lucy gathered all of her reports, folded them and tucked them underneath her arm. Lucy also made sure to secure her book with her tail, the one she had traded for when she first visited Browbeater. She puffed her chest out and marched from her chamber in a comical fashion like a little Yolshan soldier. It cheered her up. Pulling okay. There we go. Pulling a farcically serious face, she turned left and paraded down the corridor to the printing room. As she marched, she yelled, "Ludwig, Shale, front and centre, we have a mission." Ludwig loomed from his chamber and replied, "What are you playing at, Lucy? Are you talking back to your 3-foot commanding general, you prick?" "The Yosh don't talk like that." "Shut up, prick," Lucy yelled again. "We've a mission." "Why are you acting like this? Have I upset you?" Lucy marched past him, stomping her feet. "We're to deliver the reports to Browbeater. Follow your court, General." "I've upset you, I can tell," Ludwig sighed, rolling his yellow eyes as he began to follow. "If it's about kicking you out of my chamber, I'm sorry, but I couldn't deal with you singing through every black phase. I don't care about such silly things, Ludwig," she mocked. "Is this about the fact that I was promoted?" "Shut Lucy up, lacemaker!" "What's all the racket?" Shale asked, joining Ludwig as he followed her behind the little marching Inca. "Is Lucy doing her Yosh impression again?" "You talking rot about my Yosh impression, shul?" Lucy teased. "You've upset her, Ludwig, I can tell," Ludwig asserted. "She's just being immature." In truth, Lucy Lacemaker had never been able to admit when something was wrong. She'd never had anyone to tell, and so her natural defense mechanism kicked in. Due to her lack of social experience, rather than confronting her problems directly, she automatically defaulted to acting like a clown until the problem went away. She knew it was stupid, but she simply didn't know how to tell Ludwig that she was hurting. Like all clowns, comedy was her shield. She hid herself behind a happy face, hoping that her tears would not wash away the makeup. Lacking confidence in her fortitude, she kept ahead of those behind, thankful that the mask need not stretch to the back of her head. "You can be a right little idiot sometimes, Lucy," Ludwig fumed, as the three of them left through the main entrance of Ruthergush. "Forward march to Browbeater," she continued. "I don't even know why I'm bothering to come along." Shale didn't say anything, she just watched and waited. "Well, isn't Piper Street looking loquacious this phase?" Lucy remarked, skipping down the twisted street adorned with soft purples. "Ooh-la-ah-loo, jump on the crack and bend her otter's back. Have you been on the drink?" Ludwig asked. "Or have you finally lost your mind?" This was what occurred when Lucy happened upon unprocessable feelings. She rejected them, fought against them, and did all she could to laugh them away. She marched from Piper down to Shakel's Square, tooting and singing all the way. "I really wish you would stop," Ludwig argued. "I'd like to have a conversation with you if at all possible." "About what?" Lucy chimed back, feeling a rising lump in her throat. "About, things." Lucy ignored him and continued to stomp forward, though with a little more aggression in her step. "Why won't he just say it?" Her mind boiled. "Haven't I made it obvious that I'm upset? Or is this not what others do? Either way, he's an Inca, he's perceptive. He should just come out and tell me that he's leaving to pursue some higher purpose, leaving me here. Why is Shale so quiet?" "Shale, report," Lucy barked, continuing her act. "I've kept my nose out of it, Court General." Shale engaged. Ludwig sighed. "Not you too, Shale." Finally, they arrived at Enderval Street, but by that point Lucy's performers had sagged to a foot-scraping sludge. Speaking not a word, Lucy turned onto the path leading up to Browbeater while Ludwig and Shale lingered near the gate. "Okay, Lucy," huffed Ludwig. "Obviously you're upset. Greta spoke to you." "Oh yeah?" Lucy fumed, keeping her back to him as she slowed to a stop. "She spoke to me too. And Shale." "Though I wager we had very different conversations," added Shale. "Well, I wouldn't know. All I know is what she told me. And I just want to keep my head down. Stay out of the way and carry on. I don't want things to escalate any further." "Okay, that's fine," Lucy cheerfully replied, swiveling back to face him with a full smile. Her eyes were full of water and specular, but her face was so happy, and she forced her voice to emote joy, even though she wanted to bawl. "Well, what are you standing there for? Come on, we got a job to do, you daft lanks." She blinked and quickly turned away, and turned back around to hide the tears leaking from her eyes. "Stop crying, he wouldn't waste tears for you." Browbeater was a little more organised since their last visit, and neatly piled down every corridor were income, sales and stock reports, all from the other businesses tethered to the book bureau. In the centre of the room, the bookkeeper was furiously scanning multiple pages at a time, darting his eyes between several documents. If only I could look two ways at once. If only I could look 2 ways at once, he grumbled as Lucy entered. "I'll trade eyes with you," she answered, smiling to him as he looked up. "So, you live to caticulation then? Not bad at all. Shame about the right eye. It works fine, it just wanders a bit." The bookkeeper returned to his work. If you have reports, leave them with the rest. I'll see to them in due time. Shale stepped forward. Dear Mycroft, could you at least check the first page? Only we're not sure if we missed a phase. You better have not, Mycroft blurted. He arose from his seating and manoeuvred his tree-like body around the desk. Like a great fungal beast with books shelved upon outcrops of bone, he lumbered over to Lucy, who handed him the reports. Better for him to notice the edits than the whispers of Thay, Shale murmured to Ludwig. If he notices, he replied under his breath, then we'll have to kill him, no choice. Mycroft sifted through Lucy's work and grumbled to himself. He moved aside page after page until he growled, Ah! Something wrong? A panicked Lucy replied. You idiots, getting me worked up for nothing. You didn't miss a phase. Oh, so it's all okay then? Looks fine to me. Lucy, Shale and Ludwig all breathed a sigh of relief. Is there anything else you need? Because I am busy, Mycroft groaned and returned to his desk. Yes, Lucy replied, hurrying over with the book grasping her tail. I'll trade you some papers for this book. Oh yeah, sorry, I traded you some papers for this book. I'd like to trade the book in for another. Very well, what are you looking for? Something about Kibawakian biology, as in one that might have some information on cuticulation? Why would you want to read about that? She asked Ludwig. Shale laughed as Lucy's face turned a shade of red and answered, She has the mind of an adult, Ludwig. It's only natural for her to be curious. Shut up, Lucy demanded. Pass the book here, then, said Mycroft, taking the book from Lucy. He shelved it and looked around for one that fit her request. What about the Redfield Notes? The Redfield Notes? It's a summary of Kibawakian biology, how it relates to our culture and all that business. At the back there's a list of contortive positions used to shame rotters. Pictures? No, descriptions. Flustered. Okay, then I'll have it. Lucy snatched the book and scampered past Ludwig and Shale, clutching it to her chest. If you don't tell her, Ludwig, she'll assume there's a lot worse. It's a lot worse than it is, Shale commented, nudging him with her shoulder as she followed Lucy outside. Ludwig turned to Mycroft and announced, I've got a highly perceptive female outside who can read a face like a book, a voice like a song, but suffers from what can only be described as emotional dyslexia. Mycroft, I've got to leave her alone with Get Out, Ludwig, the bookkeeper croaked, keeping his eyes fixed on his work. Oh, thanks for psyching me up, old chap. Ludwig's sarcasm was apparent for once. I will leave it there. We will leave it there. Nothing to think.
Yeah,
They all suppose. What, sorry?
Didn't you, like, as a goof, have that snippet called Boo Boo the Fool?
Boo Boo the Fool.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I am on the last 3 chapters of the book. So if you have enjoyed the book previews that I've uploaded, which I will do more of if you enjoy the characters from Satellite City or the animation tests, and if you enjoyed what you heard here today, then consider buying the book when it comes out. I will be releasing hardback first editions, high quality. They will be available worldwide, and then I will make it available in softback and digital download, all while I negotiate a publishing deal. Hopefully you enjoy it. You enjoy that. Just a few little extracts. Let's see what we got. We got a bit of Celia, her investigation of this mysterious fire. We got the relationship between Quinn and Fleischer, being whispers of linguistics. We got to learn a bit more about Sombra and his massive library. And we got some tension between Lucy and Ludwig, as they are amidst some interesting events. So, without spoiling anything, I hope you enjoyed that. And yeah, not bad.
You did.
Not bad.
You did it, my guy.
The book will be... I don't know how much the book's going to be. The hardback will probably be the most expensive version, obviously, because it's hardback. And then the softback will be a lot cheaper. And then digital downloads will be the cheapest. I don't know, for the hardback, maybe around 25, 30 quid. That's usually what they go for. Considering it's like an exclusive leather, sort of like high quality collector's item. It's the first edition. The softbacks will be a lot cheaper. You know. I know a guy who specializes in very high quality books. Yeah, I will likely do everything in my power to get that out. Definitely this year. But as for specifics, I'm not sure. But yeah, someone there's someone I know, he's John Kirkman. He as I said, he specializes in doing very high end special edition books. Usually quite expensive, but again, it's first edition, and if the book does well, then owning that will be almost like an investment if it if it does well. And plus, like, it is the launch of a fucking book that I've spent 2 years on, so I definitely want to have hardcover or hardback copies available for purchase from the get-go. You know, just for people to have, but people will be able to buy the book in softback and digital download regardless. So, you know, yeah. I'll also make more of an effort to stream a little more. So hopefully that see, I'm starting to ramble now. You see, Carl. You see what you do to me?
I didn't do anything.
Fucking bastard.
I've been doing art on the floor.
Will there be an audiobook someday? Look, if things go the way I want them to go, and I release the book and it's successful and people read it and they share it and it becomes, you know, something that I can actually do for a career, the book will be fucking audiobook, you know, dramatized. I would love to do an animated series based on it. I would love to do all sorts with it. I'd even love to make a game based on the world, sort of like a Little Nightmares style, where you play as a young Fowler navigating the streets of the Kiviwak, avoiding some of the characters in the horror sort of. I'd love to do so much, and this is just the first book. The August View is book 1 of 6, and that's just the epics. And I aim to do a near infinite amount of novels based around the world, because as you've heard here today, it's a huge world. You know, you could write a whole fucking story based in that one library. It's huge, and that's just the fucking library, and that's just in the Thumb, and that's just out of the Thumb, the Hammerlow, and the fucking casino, and that's just the Underberth. You got a whole fucking universe to work with.
My last brain cell just thought of the whole story. You know the one episode of Peter Capaldi stuck in that one place for like centuries.
Yeah.
All I can think of is some poor bastard just in the library trying to figure out
Where do I go?
how do I get out of here.
So yeah.
So sad.
Thank you all for joining me on this stream, watching me animate Winifred's hand. She's just been posing there for your visual stimulation.
She vibes.
She vibes. But yeah, I will end the stream there. In fact, what I'll do is I will end the stream. I'll play the stream out with the Concertina Ballerina. This is the song I'm going to use for the book trailer. So if you enjoyed the extracts I read to you today, if you have enjoyed this world, then there will be a fully animated trailer for the book, and I will be using a soundtrack obviously for that, so I will play that for you now. So obviously you've got to use your imaginations here a little bit for what I'm about to play to you.
It's very neat.
So just give me a second. Okay. thank you everybody for joining me on this stream, and I will now play you out with the theme, I suppose, of the book, the music of the world, and what you will eventually hear in the trailer for that story. Yeah. Okay, right, the stream's over. Right, I'm going for a... I've been cooking up a mean shit for about like 2 hours.
Glorious.
God, I'm gonna fucking yes, God.